It's Monday. It's 8 PM. It's Monday assessment.
And your people gather round your town when things are on the up or things are falling down. Celebrate the hard times, stay passionate through the lows, find strength in the chaos, no matter which way it goes. It's not easy being blue. Heartbreak comes in many ways, the hardest times, the darkest days, but all these things get washed away with us, with us. The highs might not come every day, but memories do, and memories stay. Enjoy that moment anyway with us, with us, with us. It's not easy being blue. It's not easy being blue.
Stop the press. Gillingham have finally won a football match. After a winless run longer than the queue at half-time for a pie in the Medway stand, the Gills finally bagged 3 points, a 1-0 away win at Bristol Rovers. Max Clark's half volley, absolute filth. The kind of strike that makes you forget the last month of misery, even if just for a moment. And watching on from the stands, Gareth Ainsworth himself, back after heart surgery, probably wondering if his ticker could handle that every week. Maybe this is the start of something, or maybe it's just Gillingham being Gillingham. Either way, we're strapped in for the ride. This is the View from the Medway Fancast, in partnership with Gillingham FC Supporters Club, Sports Social Podcast Network, and Her Game 2, and sponsored by none other than Snodhurst Used Car Sales and Service Station and Wicked Creative. I am delighted this evening to be joined by Eddie Alcorn, Mr. Luke Teaching from German Gills, Luke's 11, and Dwaymond Hill. So we will quickly just touch on the Dwaymond Hill situation. I met Dwayne at the back end of last season when we played Port Vale away, and he walked into a pub after walking miles up a hill. So yeah, and ever since then we just keep saying about hills. So before we get going, guys, I'll start with you, Luke, mate. And how's your head after Saturday?
Still suffering a bit now, but it was worth it in the end for 3 points.
That's it, mate. And Eddie, yourself?
Yeah, no, it was a very jolly day out, full stop. We also had beers with an ex-Gills player that sort of added to it, Mark Saunders, for those old enough to remember him.
Yeah. Yeah, and Dwayne, you've obviously been to Bognor this week and left Bognor to come to the game. How's your head?
Oh, mate, I'm absolutely hungover. Literally, Red Bull's getting me through. I don't have much recollection about the game either, so I'm not sure how much use I'll be.
Oh, this is going to be a fun day, isn't it?
Yeah.
So before we get into our views news, I do just want to say a massive congratulations to Warren for winning the Tenerife over 70s Budgie Smuggler Prize. So yeah, well done, Woz, and yeah, look forward to seeing the medal. I know on Saturday you sat with us in steerage rather than being in first class, mate. But yeah, when you watch it, mate, congratulations for winning the over 70s prize there. So, boys, we'll touch on the views news quickly and Gareth's return, cost of merch and improved media in recent weeks. Without getting too much into the game, Luke, we heard Monday, Tuesday time. Gareth put a little post up saying that he was back in the training ground. Like, how much of a relief was that for you?
Yeah, massive. Obviously, glad all of the operation for him has gone swimmingly, and he's able to be back at work. Most importantly, obviously his health comes first. Health is wealth, as they say, and obviously we want him to be around for a long time. So I'm glad that's all gone well for him. But not going too much into the game, you can tell that him being there we've been on the edge of a knife with a few different results since he's been away. And I know he says that the results would have been there if he was still there. I'm not sure about that, but I think we got over the line on Saturday because he was in the ground. If that's my take personally.
Yeah, Yeah, and Dwayne, I think that's quite a good point, isn't it? I mean, people will say, you know, Dobbo did a great job when he was away, and he did, to be fair. But at the same time, there's nothing like having your manager there, mate, is there?
No, absolutely not. And I think it gives all us fans a lift. It gives all the players a lift. And yeah, it means a lot to have him back. And like I say, I agree. I think 3 point Saturday, I think there's a lot to come from him being in the stadium, being around the team. Like I say, it gave us fans such a lift. The atmosphere was absolutely booming. Like we sung Gareth's name non-stop. And yeah, I'm glad he's back. Hopefully he's healing up. And yeah, it'd be good to get him in the dugout when he's ready.
Yeah, and I think it's good as well, isn't it, Eddie? Where you sit there and you think to yourself, you know, he was there and they improved. Imagine how much we're going to improve when he is actually back in the dugout.
Yeah, I mean, look, it gave everyone a boost. I think it really gave the fans a boost. I would say though, in Dobbo's defence, like I think even any manager would have struggled with the referee we had at Grimsby, and MK we were on the, you know, finished strongly and nearly got a point. It was hardly like the roof fell in terms of displays. But in games where it's very tight, yeah, I think that little bit of confidence or tweaking that he might bring, or just the extra 2% they get from what he might say before they go out, before they start the second half or whatever. Yeah, I'd imagine we missed that. But I think sometimes it was a bit too simplistic. You know, we didn't actually play that badly in most of the games. We had 30 shots against Cheltenham. So yeah, hopefully things will have a bit of luck. I mean, I think we had a little bit of luck on Saturday that we've had no luck for a month. You know, but yeah, obviously delighted he's back, and it will give everyone a boost. And you could tell from the crowd, players at the end. You know, we feel like we've got our mojo back. Obviously.
Yeah, and you do, and you know, there's only so much Dobbo can actually do, because you know, it's all very well and good when you're sitting there saying, you know, Gareth Ainsworth has got an input in this, Gareth Ainsworth's got an input in that. But when you're in a 90-minute game of football, it's ever changing, right? So he can't have a say in what happens in 90 minutes. Like, he has a say at the beginning possibly, and then at the end, but it's ever changing, and he can't be there to do that. So yeah, brilliant. It's good to have him back. So we move on to the cost of merch, boys. Obviously, I'm sat here now in a £45 polo t-shirt that I got from the club today. Dwayne, I'll come with you first, mate. Do you think that the merchandise that we have in the shop is slightly overpriced for a League Two club?
I think so. Yeah. I think you would sell more merch if it was reasonably priced. Like, I just, it's a rip-off. I mean, I was chatting to a young lad, and he had the new hoodie on, the new tracksuit bottoms. And he spent like £120. His parents spent £120 on it. And I'm thinking, I wouldn't pay that, like, if you're Premier League, let alone League Two. I think it's ridiculous, mate, to be honest.
Yeah.
Absolutely
ridiculous. It is ridiculous. And to be like, I went to the shop today, I had to get my shirt printed because obviously, as most of you know, my best friend died on Monday time. So I went to get his name put on the back of my shirt because he was the one that introduced me to Gillingham Football Club. But Luke, what, £65 for a pair of tracksuit bottoms and £80 for a hoodie? It's a bit much, isn't it?
Well, you look at best part, 150 quid for a tracksuit, which is, and in no disrespect, it's Macron. It's not like you. Like Nike. If you're gonna, you'd probably pay that for a Nike or you know, even more of a designer brand. But it's Macron, for Christ's sake. I would pay 150 quid for a tracksuit. And I think even with the shirts, like was it £45 for an adult, and is it 40 quid for a child?
Yeah,
I still think 40 quid for a child's shirt is far too much money. Yeah. A £5 difference compared to the size of the shirts. Like, when my boy's 5, and obviously I get triple XL, and that's a lot of material difference for a £5. I think it is quite expensive, but on the flip side of that, the quality is good. Apart from it being Macron, I'm talking about more of the design. So it's that's why it flies off the shelves, doesn't it? You can't get hardly any kit. So we might just be fools for paying too much.
Yeah, possibly. And there's also a case to be had, though, mate, isn't there? Where, you know, if people are going to pay for it, like with these black ones that have come out, like the tracksuit bottoms and the hoodies, the price point for the club, having worked in retail myself and continue to do so, if people are going to pay it, then they will always think that the price point is going to be right, won't they?
Yeah. To give 150 for a tracksuit is a lot of money.
It is a lot of money. I mean, I paid my Tech Fleece tracksuits. I've got about 3 or 4 of them, and I paid what, 120, 130 pound for them. But that's Nike. That's, you expect it from Nike. But with Macron, like, no. So who haven't I come to? Eddie, your thoughts on it?
Well, I mean, normally all I do is buy the home shirt. To be honest, I think that the kids' shirts are overpriced compared with an adult one. That's apart from that, yes, it has put me off maybe buying any other merchandise, to be honest. But I'm not a big buyer of it, so I'm not the best judge of that. However, on the flip side, I think we're charging a little bit too much. I think we've gone down the route of we'll sell less but at a higher price, and they've done the math probably. However, my example of selling it, having a reasonable thing to sell and then selling it cheap and it just going wild. I don't know if you remember, in 2006, England had a red away shirt. And we had one for 2004 and 2006, and they put them out for 20 quid or whatever. And we sold 6 million, and it's the biggest selling shirt in football club history, football shirt history. And I just feel like sometimes clubs forget that there's lots of people who would buy it at the right price, and that just doesn't come into their calculation. I think that if they did one thing that was cheap and cheerful, that was reasonable quality, it really could fly off the shelves and surprise them. But it's a difficult balancing act for a League Two team, isn't it? So I'm not absolutely digging them out on it, but for me, I've looked at a couple of things and then went, no, not for that price. So
To be fair, I'm the mug who paid £55 for a piece of rubber to go around the darts boards. So,
I suppose it's subjective, though, isn't it, Luke? Because obviously you're into darts and you like playing darts and all that kind of thing. So you will pay for that. It's just a bit of an irk for me that you're paying £80 for a hoodie when you can get a coat for 85. Like, you're going to use that coat a lot more than you probably would an £80 Macron hoodie. But I spoke to I was speaking to Andrew Burrs, just a fan, a Gills fan before the game, and I was standing with Matt Boosie as well, and we were talking about it. And we all agreed that £80 a bit much. So So anyway, we'll move on to the improvement of media. So in recent weeks, Jack has come on board to help Phil in the media department. And I've got to be honest, I think it's brilliant the way that they're now doing it, like with the training ground videos and with Gareth doing his little video the other day. So Eddie, I'll come to you, and obviously it's not a slight at all on Phil, but I really think that even with like the Thursday interviews, it's become a hell of a lot more clear, a hell of a lot more better, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, in defence of Phil, he was like juggling about 3 jobs, and so he's incredibly dedicated and incredibly busy, and some things he's better at than others, and he was having to be the master of all of them. And some things, he could have maybe done better if he had more time as well, if you see what I mean. But having an assistant, a second person to help or do things themselves, and he can do something else, he's needed a proper assistant for a while, just in terms of the pressure of time on his, to get everything done. So I think that's good for him to take some stress away. And also, as you say, I think that we are recognising that it means that some of the videos and things look like they've had a little bit more time and effort put into them because there was enough time to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, and you do though, don't you, Luke? You sit there and think, and it's no disrespect to Phil, but I do think that some of them looked a bit grainy for 2025 at times. But now that Jack's in the building, they look a lot more clearer. Everything looks a little bit better. The training videos are brilliant as well, and I really appreciate them as a fan. So what are your thoughts on the media in the last couple of weeks?
I think, like I say, it's obviously a different person's touch as well. I think we obviously usually get samey, didn't we, with Phil, God bless him. But like I say, he's doing quite a number of different, wears a number of different hats, should we say, and not enough hours in the day. But no, I think, and as a place where we are at the minute, obviously we're in the playoffs, everybody's going to want to be seeing behind the scenes content, want to seeing different types of stuff that they're doing on a match day. So it's probably a good time for Jack to come in, because his content's going to get viewed. It's not going to be it's not going to be missed. So it's a good time for him, especially with us getting back in the playoffs, and over the next few weeks, looking forward to see what else comes out.
And Dwayne, yourself, mate. I think that it has been brilliant. And it does bring fans closer to the players as well when you're seeing the training stuff and everything else, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. I mean, we live in a social media world now, don't we, where everyone just wants to see more of what goes on inside and outside the club. All we need now is a nice little Netflix documentary, and we're well on.
Yeah, that's it. Was it that bloody Sunderland one? I can't remember the name of it. And the Wrexham one as well. The Wrexham one, but they're owned by Disney, so we won't go too much into that. Idiots.
Mickey Mouse Club, isn't they? That's why.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I've got a few Wrexham fans on this account, mate. So sorry, guys.
Sorry, mate. Every week's drinking. I'm sorry.
So we're going to move on, and this is a new thing for us. So we're doing a Guess Who. Obviously, this will be something that will be revealed at the end of the show, and I want all of you three to get involved with that at the end. But for now, we'll just put it on the screen. Everyone can have a little guess of who it is, and then we'll do it towards the end of the show. So this player has played for last 5 clubs: Yeovil, Gillingham, Hull, Rotherham, and Northampton. And it is a former player. I'll give you that clue. It's not actually a current player tonight, even though my thing last night, and Mark, thank you very much for pointing out that it was indeed Amani Little that I put up last night, but it was more for reference than anything else. So we will go straight into the lineups then, boys. So we had Jake Turner in goal. We had a back 4 of Max Clark, Andy Smith, Sam Gale and Romeo Hutton. We had a midfield 3 of Nelson Kambene, Robbie McKenzie and Ethan Coleman. We had then a 10 at Nevitt, possibly. And then Andrews and Seb Palmer holding up top. So I have changed that since, because I did do this yesterday. And having watched the game back, Robbie McKenzie definitely was in a back 5 for me rather than in the midfield. So I do apologise, but I didn't have enough time to change it. So Eddie, I'll go with you first, mate, and your thoughts on the lineup for Saturday.
In one sense, I was less worried about how they arranged themselves as opposed to who was going to be in the team. And just having Gale back in the team, I mean, we showed when he wasn't there against Salford a lot. Like if another defender's playing there makes an error, he's the one who's quick enough to make up for it, get back and clear it and everything like that. So the moment he's in the team, gives me far more faith in the rest of the defence, whether it's a 3, 4 or 5, if you see what I mean. It's a little bit for me, because we change during a game as well, and we tinker and we alter things, it's not set in stone. It's a bit hard to really, sometimes during the game it will change. So we're talking about a player in a certain position, but they maybe only were there for half an hour and then they tweaked it. So it's more, Kambeni had a better game than I was expecting. I always like having McKenzie in the team. I mean, so it's a little bit more, not where they were, it's just who was playing. Obviously, a lot of us had a concern about who was in goal, should we say? But we'll probably get onto that, I'd imagine.
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, and Luke, yourself, mate, and your thoughts on the 11 when it came out at 1:45. I've got to be honest, mate, I'm getting a little bit confused because obviously we used to get the team news at 2 o'clock, and now we're getting it at 1:45, which is fine, but it doesn't really matter because we don't have any squad numbers anymore. It's literally just it goes in squad order, so you're literally stood there having a pint, and your pint's gone warm by the time you've actually worked out what kind of thing it is, mate, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it was an interesting one because with the injuries that we've got at the moment, we haven't got any. Well, apart from you could say Dak, who was on the bench. My only concern was that side is who was going to create anything because there's not a creative spark in there at all. And I was quite concerned that we played the free striker experiment again, considering how it went against Salford, which it didn't. But like I say, it was good to obviously have Gal back, as Eddie mentions. He's kind of the rock in that back four that gets played at the moment. So, but yeah, there was slight concerns. I was just thinking, where are we going to create any chances from? So, yeah.
Yep. And Dwayne, yourself, mate, when the teams come out, I personally kind of on the fence of it. I agree with Luke to an extent, like the free striker thing didn't work against Salford. It really didn't work against Salford. It was just disjointed. But yeah, your thoughts on the lineup, mate?
Yeah, I was pleased to see Kumbweni come in, actually. I think he's a player I'd quite like to see a bit more of. I think the rest of it, yeah, it's kind of how I expected it, to be honest. I thought, I thought Nevitt would definitely play. And yeah, pretty much as expected, I'd say.
Yeah, and
but again, I thought,
sorry,
the only concern I had was, I do think it lacked a bit of creativity.
Yeah, and I think we did, and we will get onto that in a minute. But we're kind of restrained at the moment, aren't we? Where you've got Gareth McCleary that's literally just coming back and was on the bench. You've got Johnny Smith that's coming back that's on the bench. So we don't really have an out-and-out outlet on the wings. I don't like this free striker thing. I think it. You know, when you've got Bradley Dack on the bench and you're playing Nevitt in his place, essentially, it didn't look like that necessarily, but it didn't feel right to me. I'm not, Max Clark, and I've said it a million times. I think that if we're playing a 5, that Lenny Serino needs to be at left wing back because we have a little bit more balance, kind of coming home to roost now, though, isn't it? Considering what happened on Saturday, but. I just feel that, we look a bit more balanced if we're playing a 5 with Serino at left wing back. And there's no disrespect to Max because I think he's a brilliant player. But yeah, and I would also like to say a massive thank you to the lads because there was about 10 of them that were at my reception at the hotel when I checked in on Saturday morning. And they were all having a laugh and a joke and everything. So, yeah. Anyway, we will touch on the game itself then, I guess. And listen, if you was to be a Bristol Rovers fan, Luke, and you looked at that and looked at them stats, how hard done by would you feel?
Yeah, but it's exactly the same as what we had against Cheltenham.
Yeah,
it's horses for courses. I think it's nice for us to be in this side of a result over the last month that we've had.
Yeah.
Like Eddie said earlier, we haven't had much luck in October, and we got a bit of luck on Saturday. But just exactly the same as how hard done by we felt against Cheltenham. So I have no sympathy whatsoever.
Yeah. And Eddie, yourself, any sympathy for the Bristol Rovers fans?
And not in particular, but I would say that I thought we battled it out really well, and it's a good sign because we've been doing that earlier in the season, and sometimes these stats can be a little bit misleading as well. I mean, basically we had a couple of little spells when suddenly Bristol Rovers had a lot of chances, but it wasn't throughout the game. A lot of it we were in control and we were fairly steady, I thought. And then obviously we had a mad last 5 minutes, and we survived it, thank goodness, because if they'd equalised, it would have felt a bit downbeat, I think. But so I'm glad we escaped that mad last 5 minutes. But overall, it wasn't like I was panicking at 0-0 or 1-0. You know, like some games away when the other team had got a lot of the ball and you're under a bit of pressure. You're like all half the time, but this wasn't. You know, it was more like, oh yeah, well cleared, or we've got this sort of thing. Partly I just have a 15% boost in confidence when Gale's playing, but also I just thought we were solid. I mean, it's the flip side, I think, of what you were alluding to earlier about not having much in the way of creativity at the moment, but we haven't got much choice at the moment, so we're just making the most of what we've got. And so therefore, until we get a couple of players back who may be a little bit more creative, we are going to battle it out. So let's battle it out then, you know, and we've shown we can do that before. So, yeah, I have no problem with doing that. I mean, 1-0 to the Gillingham will do me fine.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think like we continuously say on this show as well, Dwayne, that I don't care if we win 1-0. I don't care if we scrape it in the last minute. So long as you can see that the team are trying, I think that's all we can really ask for, isn't it, mate?
Absolutely, mate. And I thought defensively we were solid. I agree. Up until the last 5 minutes, I don't think it even looked like we were going to concede a goal. Like, I was fully confident in the defence. I thought Turner was outstanding in goal, to be fair to him. Like, he was coming for crosses, he was holding on to the ball. A lot of us were getting frustrated because we wanted the quick counter-attacks, but the defence were telling him, look, slow it down, let us get in position, build from the back. I just thought, the whole team looked confident on the ball. Like, defensively, we looked so solid. But I think, again, we did lack going forward.
Yeah, and I think Luke, like Dwayne said, we look solid in defence, and I personally think that is the Robbie McKenzie effect in that back five, because we've conceded goals when he's been there, but it's League Two, but we definitely look a hell of a lot better when he's in that back line, standing in for Masterson, because if it's a back five with Masterson in it, I feel really confident that we ain't going to concede a goal. But yeah, like, what's your overview on the game, mate? And also with Robbie being in there, Mr. Swiss Army knife, isn't he? Like, he can pretty much play anywhere.
I think with what we've had over the last month and the way I think the players really needed a performance like that, where, let's be honest, we weren't at our best in terms of creating tons and tons of chances like we have been at home. But like the way the players reacted to Turner's save when Dak cleared it off the line, they were all in for each other. And I think we missed a little bit of that over the last few weeks. Obviously, it's going to happen when you're going to get knocked a bit because, we haven't been picking up points with the fantastic start that we've had. But I feel like this result will now give us a hell of a boost coming in over the next few weeks. As you rightly said, we've got Smith, McCleary back. Hopefully, Little won't be too fine. Johnny Williams, is he injured or was he suspended? He's suspended, wasn't he? Or was he injured?
I think he was suspended after Grimsby, wasn't he? But then that was 2 or 3 games ago. You can't get suspended.
And then obviously we've got Ewan Williams that we all think that's coming back. So we have got bits of creativity coming back, and I think we needed that win on Saturday just to kind of shift the ship back in the right direction. Still in the playoffs. We've got a good 2 back-to-back home games coming up now, and I think just for the mentality, I think that'll give them it'll give them such a boost. And with Gareth coming back as well, so I think the cards were definitely laid in our favour Saturday.
Yeah,
I have to mention one thing. Can I just interject?
Yeah, of course.
No, it's just obviously everyone's entitled to their own opinion, right? But some of the reaction online to our dip in form was comical, I thought. I mean, like, we've now won on Saturday and we're 2 points off automatic with 31 games left in the season. And some people that sounded like they're on bloody suicide watch. Yeah, and I mean, look, you've got to know there will be dips and bumps in the road, even in a good season. And I didn't think that helped the players in terms of the crowd getting so edgy so quickly. We've got to be realistic. We are not a 100-point, 100-goal saunter to the title 4th division team, but that doesn't mean we can't be in the mix, right? But to be in the mix, you have to appreciate that you might be a work in progress or not the perfect article, and you got to play to your strengths, and there will be dips and things just pop up in the way. And I just felt like some of our fans aren't helping sometimes. It just frustrated me. That's all. Sorry.
It does, mate. But then, I mean, you then can caveat that with the fact that we've had how many bad Octobers in a row now. You could sit there and say, people have got a little bit of PTSD about it.
Oh yeah, no, I know. I understand that people just saying the results have gone off a cliff again, right? I get that, but these is very different circumstances, and also the performances have been different, both before and during the dodgy run. So before, we've been more convincing and looked much more like it rather than seat of our pants. And then in the dodgy run, well, a couple of the games were very difficult. We might have lost them anyway, and we lost by the odd goal. Well, we were absolutely mugged at Grimsby. MK Dons, if that had been 10 minutes longer, we'd have got a point. Cheltenham, in normal circumstances, we'd have won. Then Salford, we lose our goalie after 30 seconds. Turner's not then fresh and ready. We miss a penalty. I mean, do you know what I mean? Everything that could go wrong, all the different little tick boxes of things that can go wrong, all went wrong in a month. Well, that can happen. It's football. That's part of why we love the sport, because it's slightly so unpredictable. And in a low-scoring sport, things like that can happen. But people need to realise that can happen. Do you know what I mean? I mean, people in 95-6, right, we got promoted, but we had a terrible run in March without, 0-0s and 1-0s. We weren't losing many, we weren't winning many, and we weren't scoring goals. And then in the 90, other promotion seasons, we've had dodgy spells. People forget about the dodgy spells if the outcome is happy at the end, obviously, naturally. But people need to remember that you don't just saunter to it, There will be bumps in the road. And I just think some of our fans just don't appreciate that.
And I think on top of what you've said, Eddie, is we was out without a manager as well. And I don't care what everyone said. Obviously, Dob has done a fantastic job, but you haven't got your manager there. That's still... Do you know what I mean?
That's also another point to add to the fact that, this is not like last year or the year before.
Yeah.
So,
it was still October though. No, but it was. I've just got I've got PTSD about October, and I have done since Harris was here. I've done since last season when Bonner was
back
here.
in the 80s, it was Mad March. We always used to blow up in March. So it's just changed the month.
At least we've changed months. Yeah, brilliant. But no, it is right, and it's mitigating circumstances. Your manager going for heart surgery isn't an everyday occurrence. Getting injuries, it kind of is an everyday occurrence for us, especially this time of year. We always seem to get bloody 8 or 9, don't we? But at the end of the day, and I think we said it on last week's show, we can't be too hard on them. Like, you can see that they're trying. You can see that everyone's still trying, and we haven't had the run of the park. We have not had the rub of the green. We have literally tried our hardest, and it's just not come off. So, but
I think the problem is as well is we all get a little bit too excited, when we start thinking about top 3 and stuff like that. And what Eddie's right, we are a work in progress. I personally still don't think we're going to finish in the playoffs, but I'll go with where we are in a minute. Is that we are a work in progress. We are a 2-year project. So I think we all need to kind of, it's hard because I do get a bit excited as well. But we, as football fans, we do ride on the coattails of good performances. And when you're in the top 6 and top 3, kind of hard to bring you back down in it.
Yeah. And I do think as well that there's a certain level of, since like all of the rubbish that we have with Scally, like Brad and Shannon have come in, and then all of a sudden we're expecting as fans instant success because of what has gone before. And I do think that there's a certain level of entitlement that we do have in the fan base, that we think that we should be doing this, we should be doing that. Right? They've come into a club where it's on its knees. He's literally drained that club to the absolute 9th degree. They're now spending their time now to try and build that club back up. So I do feel that, yes, and I've been guilty of it myself, where I'm like, we should be winning, we should be doing this, we should be doing that.
So.
But if you put it into perspective, right, we're 4 points off top, and it's not beyond the realms of possibility that we could go on a good run again now, and we could then end up being top in the next couple of weeks. This league is not very good, right?
No, not this year.
I mean, absolutely no disrespect to any team in it, but it's not very good this season, right? Everyone can beat everyone, as has been proven so far, and I think we just need to take a little bit of stock, really, and just be a little bit more. We are Gillingham Football Club. We're not from a fancy, glitzy, nice area and all that lot. We all love our town. We all love living in Gillingham or around surrounding areas, and because it's a hard working place. But we can't sit there and just expect. And I think that kind of Max Clark's goal, and whoever said that he's shit, why is he shooting? That was absolutely brilliant, because he's clearly got egg on his face this morning or yesterday. But yeah,
I think for this season, just be nice, like compared to the last 2 or 3 seasons, if we're in and around it, March, April, or May, I've got something to play for. Because over the last few seasons, we haven't had anything to play for apart from looking below us and we're now safe. But it was just nice to be in and around that sort of top 10 for as long as possible. And then if we drift away, we drift away. But it would just be nice to have something to get excited about in March, April, May time.
Yeah, but I said this at the start of the season, and I don't think I'm going to change my opinion. I still think we'll finish 7th. I don't think we're good enough for autos. I think we will finish 7th, and then possibly nick it in the playoffs. But yeah. Anyway, so anything else on the game, boys, before we move on to our man of the matches?
Well, I mean, I'd like to say, what were people's thoughts on the penalty? I mean, like both things. I didn't know what it was for at the time.
I
was going, what? Is it? Have we got a penalty? Like, no one appealed down our end. I know it's down the other end and their floodlights were crap and it was a bit dark and dingy, but no one shouted for anything, I thought. And then we got the penalty, and then how would you describe it politely, the penalty?
I think if you're putting that penalty into context, if the keeper dives and it goes in, it's a good penalty.
Yeah.
Like if you're looking at it from what it was a terrible penalty. But this is Max Clark, right? Max Clark came into this club thinking he was going to be number 1 left back. We then got Scott Malone in, right? He's had to fight his way to get back into that squad there. He's then fought his way to get back into the squad, like with multiple other players playing in that position, and he's done it time and time again. So for me, it was that was bittersweet for me, because he's sitting there like he's missed a penalty and then he's scored a goal. That for me summarises his career at Gillingham, right? He's missed and then he's risen to the top again. And for me, Max Clark is in a back 4, not in a back 5, is a brilliant player, and why we've only got him in a 1-year contract is beyond belief for me. But yeah, I really rate him. So anyone else before we move on?
I wouldn't go that far, me personally. But I wouldn't go that far. But he's a good player. But I wouldn't go that far. But I said this to Matt at half time, is that you've got 3. I'm not a fan of a left back taking penalties. Well, you've got 3 strikers on the pitch, and if I was a striker, I'd be fuming that I'm not taking a penalty. But we've missed 2 now and I thought Palmer Oldham would have took it, but I'm not 100% fan of a left back taking a penalty, especially when you've got 3 strikers on the pitch. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, and I'll ask you, Dwayne, about that actually. Who would you in that squad, if you've got a starting 11 and you get a penalty, who would you rather take a penalty?
If he's on the pitch, I'd give it to Bradley Dack. If not, maybe
really?
I'd give it to him. Maybe Seb Palmer Holden. Maybe Palmer Holden.
To be fair, if Nevitt's playing, I think Nevitt's placement when he does score goals, I personally would give it to Nevitt.
Rugby or football? Which one was it?
Yeah, Bromley at home last season. Luke was loving that one.
I think that ball's still coming down.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Okay, maybe not Nevitt then.
Or Vokes. You would say Vokes. It would be Vokes for me because you've got the amount of experience. But you don't know when he's going to be on the pitch, the amount of experience he's got. But but now we've missed the last couple. Maybe that needs to be looked at.
Yeah. I do like the way that usually Max places them and this, that, and the other. But you know,
for me, if you're taking a penalty, I know he did it against Bromley, where it went straight down the middle. But for me, it'd be pick a corner. It is hard as you can into that corner. Don't go straight down the middle.
Yeah.
If he does that next time, fair play to him. But going down the middle.
Fair enough, boys. So we will touch on man of the matches, and Dwayne has gone for Jake Turner. So Dwayne, your reasons as to why?
Well, I always like to go for a man of the match for a player that I've criticised a lot in the past, and Turner's definitely been one of them.
Yeah.
But I thought he was solid. I thought we gave away a lot of corners. He was very commanding in corners. I thought he held onto the ball, which the players around him wanted to. His distribution was much better. And it never really felt like he was going to get beaten. And I think, credit where credit's due. Like, I'm going to criticise a player when he does well. It's only right to pick him up. And I thought we'd done well, and I think that gave him a world of confidence.
No, definitely, mate. And
because a lot of the hate towards him as well. Like, I think it's a bit unjust. You know what I mean? Like, I get you can criticise, but don't start hating on someone. Do you know what I mean? He's a Gillingham player. He's our player. Get behind him, support him. It's the only way he'll improve. Yeah. When he's got all the people behind the goal shouting, screaming at him, do you know what I mean? It's not right. Get behind the players. And credit where credit's due. I thought he had a really solid game.
Yeah, no, to be fair, mate, I think he did as well. And I'm the biggest critic of him, to be fair. I don't necessarily rate him. But credit where credit's due. I think that he played really well. He probably would have been my man of the match. Had it not been for another player that I thought was slightly better. But he's Luke. He's an enigma, isn't he? Like you can kind of see why people criticize him, but at the same time, like he's not really. If you look at it, put it into perspective, where he's not had a real run of games. You know, he was first choice under Harris. He was at the start, I believe, under Clements. And he's just he's not really had a run of games, mate. So I don't like criticizing him, but at the same time, you can't sugarcoat shit.
Yeah. If he makes a subtle few changes to his game, I don't think he'd be a bad keeper.
Yeah.
I know he gets a lot of stick when he holds onto the ball far longer than what he should do, but he is in my opinion, he is a good shot stopper. Obviously, his distribution was a lot better than it normally was on Saturday, because I think that's one of his worst parts of his game is his distribution. But if he makes a subtle few changes, he could be quite a good goalkeeper. Whether he'd be my number one next season, probably not, but I think he'd probably do a good job in National League. But he's going to be a confidence player, because he does get, from the Rainham end, and especially where I stand, he does get a lot of shit. And Dwayne's right. You got kind of, because he's, I think, to be fair, the first goal against Salford, I don't think was his fault. The second one, I definitely think it was his fault. But to come back from that over the last two games, had a good game against Newport and a good game against Saturday, hopefully we start seeing the best of him. Because like I say, he's not as bad as what everybody makes out.
Yeah, and Eddie, I think something that really niggles me is something that Luke said, and it's no disrespect to yourself, Luke, but when someone says, "Oh, he's a good shot stopper," for me, that should be the minimum you expect of a goalkeeper.
That's your job.
So, Eddie, your thoughts?
Well, I've not been his biggest fan either, so I'm delighted that he had a game like that for two reasons. For selfish reasons, as in it helped Gillingham win the game, especially that mad last 5 minutes, and when he pushed it onto the bar, and he made a low saved a bit before that as well that was pretty good, and he made 3 or 4 really handy saves. But also his distribution was a bit better, and his commanding of the area with high balls and crosses was better. I'd argue it's maybe one of the best games he's ever had for us. And so if we are without, Morris for a little while, I mean, I was thinking, oh God, I haven't got that much faith in him. But he plays like that every week, we'll all be delighted, won't we? So yeah, a bit like everyone else. Not a huge fan of his, but he's a Gills player, and we've got to back him, especially as he's probably going to be in the team for a little while at the moment. So I was delighted with his performance, and also I was really glad at the end of the game when the other Gills players pushed him to the front to do the hooray, hooray, hooray with the away fans. He looked a bit bashful about it, but I'm glad they got him to do it, because that was 1,000 people doing it back to him, and hopefully that will help his confidence and go, look, you are a Gills fan. If you play like that, you're going to get that sort of reaction, and hopefully that will help his, help his confidence and make the supporters less edgy when he's having to deal with a difficult ball or something. But we'll see.
Yeah, no, and like, look, at the end of the day, I don't go out there to bash players for the sake of it. If they're playing well.
Yes, you do. You're a Gillingham boo boy.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm one of them. Yeah, no, but you do, like, you get people that do it. But for me, I'll just say it how it is. Like, regardless, if you're playing well, you're playing well. If you're not playing well, I'll tell you you're not playing well, or I think you're not playing well. But so we move on to you, Luke. And obviously, you went for Nelson Kumbene, who is sponsored by the View from the Medway Fancast. So your reasons as to why.
Yeah, thank you for that brown envelope that I got through from the postman this morning. It was nicely received. The reason I went for Nelson, right, is that he's another player that has had some absolute pelters in terms of his performances. They haven't been amazing, but I still don't understand why we bought him when we were sacking John Coleman 3 weeks later, but that's just a different topic altogether. But I thought he was brilliant on Saturday. He didn't stop running. That's pretty much all he did, was stop just doing running, because he didn't have much of the ball, but he was everywhere. And I can get behind players who give their all, like very much like Nevitt and Seb Palmer-Holden. Especially with Nevitt, I do feel for the lad, because don't think he's ever going to score more than 5 goals for Gillingham in a season. But he works hard, and I thought Nelson on Saturday worked really hard and put a shift in, which I hadn't seen him do before. So I was really quite pleased with him, and I loved the way he walked around the back of the goal and didn't go off on the other side, and I think he got pretty much a round of applause from everybody. So I kind of been the only one that thought he had a good game on Saturday.
Yep. Yeah, and I've pretty much gone for the same, to be fair. I think he was good in the FA Cup against Newport. I think that he was solid. And again, another player for me that, he's been out of his injuries. He's not really had a consistent run in the team. And, I'm not doing it because we sponsor him, but, it does help. But, at the same time, he's a good lad. I've met him on several occasions, and he's such a down-to-earth lad. And for him to be in the team now and actually, showing his worth, I just think it's brilliant for him. So, yeah, that was my man of the match, and pretty much agree with what Luke said as well. So we will get on to our Guess Who again, I guess. So they played for Yeovil, Gillingham, Hull, Rotherham, and Northampton. So, Eddie, who do you think?
Oh, I've forgotten about this. Ask someone else. I haven't got my thinking head on. Sorry.
So, Luke, yeah.
I believe it's Tom Eaves.
Okay. And Dwayne?
Yeah, I was going to guess Elliot Liss, but no, I think it is Tom Eaves now, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think all of you are right. It is Tom Eaves. And before you guys had even said it, Mrs. Sarah Potter had put, probably wrong, but was it Tom Eaves? So, yeah, I need to make this harder.
He's a plant.
To be fair, other than Cody McDonald, he's probably one of my favourite strikers. So I just thought I'd use him first. But I think Cody McDonald would have been a little bit too obvious, because most people know that he is my favourite striker for Gills. So we will quickly touch on our sponsors and partnerships. So we are obviously sponsored by Snodhurst Used Car Sales and Service Station and Wicked Creative. We are in partnership with Gillingham FC Supporters Club. Her Game 2 and Sports Social Podcast Network. Before we go, we will look ahead. Obviously, we are playing Wickham tomorrow night in the Pizza Cup, one that no one really cares about. But on Saturday, we are playing Crawley, and it is a 5:30 kickoff. So, Luke, I'll go with you, mate. Obviously, we've lost, drawn, lost 1, and they've lost, drawn, lost 1-1. So they're on an upward trajectory. What are your hopes and aspirations for Saturday?
I hate playing Crawley.
Yeah.
And especially because that man's there is back there as well now. It makes me very nervous. I think we haven't beat them at home not last year or the year before. We both lost on Boxing Day, and when was the other game? We lost 3-0.
We played them at the start of the season before last, and we beat them 1-0 because that was when we went on that 1-0 bloody 5 or 6 game run.
I just hope we put in another shift like we did against Bristol Rovers on Saturday. Obviously, Lindsay's going to know where our weak points are because I think they normally play quite well against us. They're good football inside as well. So I would just like to see another gritty performance. Hopefully, I'd like to see us play with 2 wingers. Actually, that is my hope and aspiration, considering we've got 3 in the squad that are fit now.
There you go. And Dwaymond Hill, yourself?
3-0, mate. Never hat-trick.
And on next week's episode, we will get you some painkillers. No, go on. Be serious.
I'll take a win, mate. Any win.
Yeah. And Eddie, yourself?
Well, firstly, I'm one of the idiots that will be going to watch the Gills Wickham game tomorrow night because the winner will go through, but then probably be a runner-up in the next round. Just don't want it to go to the most pointless penalties ever, in the group stage. My God, they're idiots having that. But anyway, Saturday, well, if they're going to play tippy-tappy football, I hope we get in their faces and we hopefully, they're trying to play out from the 6-yard box and we do a high press, high energy display. Because when that happens, that's the antidote to a tippy-tappy team. And hopefully the crowd will be up for it because we've just won a game. And, if, the manager's back and even if he's just waving from a box or from up in the top of the Medway stand, I think that will just give the crowd a boost as well. So hopefully a positive atmosphere, as well as we'll have to do our best for the antidote to the tippy-tappy nonsense because they think they're Pep Guardiola still. And we'll see. But, this is Gillingham. So,
expect the unexpected.
Anything can happen, I don't know who the referee is. We've had some dodgy refs recently. I'd like to have a ref who's just not a lunatic on the run from Rampton, to be honest.
It might actually be Kettle,
Not what elder or younger.
Well, you'd be brave enough to step foot in Gillingham, do you?
Oh, could you imagine it? The atmosphere, the reception he would get. Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, I think didn't we play Crawley at home like season before last, and when that Scott Malone when he had that absolute belter of a volley. Was that the one?
I mean, one of the Crawley games was the free entry, if you remember, or pay what you want, entry, and everything. Yeah. And we got 9,000 and thrashed them 1-0. I'd take a 1-0 thrashing again.
Yeah. I definitely think, boys, that we need to build on this now. Yes, it's been a horrible October, but we're now in November, and it's all very well and good, like smash and grab maybe on Saturday, but it means nothing if we don't build on it. Like, we need to build on it because we don't want to be that team again, do we, Luke? Where we're we've had a bad October, we then won in November, and then we've just fallen apart again at home.
Yeah, and I'd like us to build a bit of momentum again, because we've got, like I said, where we've got the 2 home games coming up. I'd love to see us get Barnet. I think will be a tough game, but I'd love to see us get 4 points from the next 2 games. Sorry, push us up a little bit more. Obviously, the results really didn't go our way at the weekend. A lot of draws, and obviously the teams around us won. So, as again, I'll just be happy to keep up the fight in this top 10 for as long as possible. And the only way you're going to do that is by building momentum. Hopefully, no more injuries, touch wood. And we can start seeing, because I still don't think we've played our best 11 yet. And we've said that for a number of years now. But excited to see kind of when everyone is fit and back, what we can do.
Yeah. Yeah. And Dwayne, like what Luke said about our best 11, like what would be your best? Would you play a back five, or would you go to, personally, I'd go to, having wingers and having McCleary on one side and Johnny Smith on the other, and then having a back
I
four.
like wingers. I do like playing with wingers, definitely. Yeah. Back four all day long, definitely back four. Because I think we just go so defensive with the back five. It's so easy to make that backwards, sideways pass. Like no one's really making them runs going forward, are they? Like play with wingers, get people in behind. Absolutely, yeah. No, definitely, boys. So I did miss it earlier, but we will have a quick mention of Phil's thoughts before we wrap up the show. So.
But this is a feeling we haven't had for a number of weeks. We've won, we've got 3 points and mark of this mass clap. What a screamer. Fantastic away day. Up the Gills!
There we go, and always appreciate Phil's thoughts. I spoke to Mr. Don Ballard a couple of weeks ago, and he said, it sounds like David Attenborough. And he'd always make him feel very... He always makes Dom feel very calm, even when we lose. So, So, boys, we are at the end of the show. Obviously, if you haven't yet, please join us on the Facebook group, The View from Medway, X at The View from the Medway Fancast or at TVFTM, and YouTube on The View from the Medway Fancast. So, before we go, boys, any more housekeeping from anyone? So, I'll start with you, Eddie.
Yeah, on Saturday, we normally drink in the Will Adams pub, Backstreet Boozer, in about 7-minute walk from the station. We've got some ex-Gills players coming to join us for a beer or two. They're willing to mingle. Now, they're all the players from a certain era, so it'll mean more to fans who are going in the late 80s, early 90s. But we've got like Paul Haylock, Carl Elsey, Billy Manuel, Steve Lovell. There's about 8 players coming at the moment. Ivan Haynes, Mel Sage. I've missed a couple out, but Lee Palmer. Anyway, if you want to meet and mingle with them, and they're probably going to get to the pub from about 2:30, and it sounds like they might just carry on drinking and not go to the game. So,
well, especially Billy Manuel, bloody hell.
Yeah, I mean, so if you're of the age and you remember them playing in a Gills side that gave full commitment but weren't very good, then come along for a pint and a chat.
There we go. And Dwayne, yourself?
No, just stay positive. I love the positive atmosphere that was there Saturday. I think the fans just need to stay positive, get behind the team, let's get the Gills up the table.
There we go. And Luke, yourself, mate, any lasting thoughts?
Yeah, I'd love to see us translate our away support into the home ground a bit more, because I think sometimes we took 1,000 all the way to Bristol. I know it's only an hour and 15 minutes from London, but it's not the cheapest day out. And I'd just love to see us to be a bit more loud and like we are in away games, because there's a good load of people there on Saturday. And if we can get Priestfield rocking a bit more, it's only going to help them, because shooting towards that Rainham end is a fright for teams, that many people have said over the years when we're all singing off the same hymn sheet with the players. So if you ain't got your tickets yet, I'm not going to do a Warren, but get your tickets for Saturday. 5:30 kickoff. Who cares if it's on Sky Sports? And come to Priestfield.
There we go. You haven't got enough hair to be Warren, dude.
No, I've got more hair on my beard than I have.
Yeah.
I think it's slightly thicker.
Makeup for it,
slightly thicker than his hair as well, actually.
There we go, boys. So we're at the end of the show. So again, I think I'll reiterate what Luke says. Like, let's get the place packing. The boys are putting in the effort, regardless of results lately. They've been putting in the effort, and it would be nice. I mean, the Rainham end, credit to you guys in the Rainham end. Like, it's always rocking. Saturday was brilliant. I was at the back, pretty much with the Stone Island Brigade, as I like to call them. All good lads, and I pretty much lost my voice. I've got a chest infection at the moment, so I pretty much lost my voice after Saturday, and it was absolutely brilliant. And yeah, testament to every single fan in the Rainimen. Like, they always keep us going, don't they? So yeah, with that, boys, we will finish up. So I've been Chris, he's been Eddie, he's been Luke, he's been Dwayman Hill. Good night, and up the Jills.
The view from the Medway.